My name is Nande Boss and I am the Communications Manager at GraySwan Investments. It is the hugest privilege and honor for me to sit opposite Duncan and Tanya Theron. Duncan, who's the CEO of GraySwan, and Tanya, the head of wealth. It is a special occasion. We are celebrating 10 years of GraySwan. Duncan, what are your initial thoughts about a decade? We're celebrating 10 years. Talk to us about the journey.
Unbelievable. 10 years so fast. It's been an incredible journey, I have to say. If I think about an analogy, I definitely think about the Wright brothers, which were the guys that got us all flying. And if you think about that, it took them 7 years to build that aeroplane and get it off the ground. It was hard work, it was different thinking, they were contrarian, not everybody believed in their vision, but they got together and finally they made it happen. And initially they got that aeroplane off for a 15-second stint, and then 19 seconds, and finally 59 seconds, and that's kind of the GraySwan story. It's just been, you know, a group of fantastic people coming together and building this dream over the last 10 years, and you know, it feels like finally we're flying.
I love that. You know, Tanya, you might know or might not know this, but I was sneaky. I've got my phone here. I was sneaky enough to ask some of our staff and some of our clients what they think about GraySwan. What are the first words that come to mind? And I'm going to read those to you now. The words were integrous, inspiring, professional, collaborative, and engaging. Are you surprised at all? And tell us maybe some of your highlights and what comes to mind when you think about GraySwan.
Those words are very flattering and the descriptions are very accurate, and I can relate to them. I can even add a few words.
Come on.
Like progressive, diligent, nurturing, flexible, and yes, it took a few years to consistently do things in a certain manner to be able to be honored with such words.
I'd like to know more about the journey. How has it been like building a company like GraySwan?
They say when you have fun, time flies, but I can tell you that if you work hard, time also flies. And this company's been built just day by day. If you look at like one of my favorite all-time superheroes is Richie McCaw, the All Black rugby player, and in his journal every day he just writes start again. And that's kind of what we've done at GraySwan. It's just been every single day. We love what we're doing, but it's been a daily journey, and finally we are where we are today.
I love that. Small things, every day, consistency, and it shows, because I know we are not an ordinary business at all. We take things seriously, and one of our passions is responsible investing. Why is that so?
I think it's just that everything about this business is about doing the right thing for the right reasons and doing it always. And when we started the business, we definitely wanted to do something different. And we actually found this great international organization called the United Nations Principles of Responsible Investing. And we adopted those principles. We were the second consultant in South Africa to adopt those principles and implement those. And our clients today have invested in responsible product, which have provided superior performance and even at lower costs. And they've seen that it pays to be responsible, to care about the planet, about your community. So that's what GraySwan's all about. It's in our DNA. It's about caring and performing.
I love that. You've said some powerful stuff about our DNA and who we are. It seems like we're only talking highlights at the moment, like positive things, which is great. But I'd love to know, is there anything that you would have done differently in the past 10 years? What are some of the learnings?
I think there will always be something that you look back and say, I should have done it differently. One can only be a good leader through a lot of learning and growing, and by making mistakes is by far the best way. Not many leaders were born brilliantly, but they were all forged to be brilliant by being hit many, many times with an anvil of failure. When you fail or when you're disappointed with the outcome, you start searching again. Hence, it's important to be always pioneering, have a spirit of pioneering, and forge ahead.
I love that, Duncan.
I think maybe the first 6-7 years we were like really just stuck in the ground, just working. And then I met this amazing man, which has always been a kind of an icon for me, a very smart man 4 years back. And when I asked him the success of his business story, he told me, just walk across the road.
Sure.
And that's what he did. And today he's one of the most well-known, most successful South African businessmen, and he's actually a shareholder in our business. And we started following that principle by just walking across the road, by engaging with other people. We found our offshore partners in that way. So I think in hindsight, not just being stuck in the daily routines, but looking up, walking across the road, and just getting to know other people, your clients, people to do business with.
Yeah, I love that. And that's what I've come to know actually about the leadership at GraySwan, is that it's strategic, it's intentional. Tell us more about the offshore partners in the UK, isn't that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's not just about walking across the road. We actually had to get in an aeroplane when we could still, 3 years back, and we flew over to the UK. Incidentally, two of our good friends recommended that we go and visit this boutique high conviction company called Absolute Return Partners. And we were in London, met Niels Jensen and Stephen Bartel and the guys, and they're just a passionate bunch of people, very similar to GraySwan. Love what they're doing, different thinking, and I have to say that we learned a lot from their business. Their research process is very much focused on mega trend and thematic thinking, and it's something that we've adopted in our business in the last 2 or 3 years. And we're really rolling out some very innovative and interesting ideas to our clients right now.
Fantastic. Your reflections on the last 10 years?
It was and it is still like enthusiastically signing up for a race and running it with every inch of strength in your body, but without knowing how many kilometers you have to go until you reach that finish line. So it's a race that we run with an infinite mindset. I agree fully with Simon Sinek that says if you embrace that kind of mindset, you can build a stronger, a more innovative and a more inspiring company than those who has a defined endpoint. You only take up running if you really like doing it, otherwise you'll not be able to preserve and succeed. We started this business because we are passionate about investments and we are passionate about people's well-being. But it takes great diligence, energy and grit to be an entrepreneur. When you run a race, you run it with people that are like-minded. So we are fortunate to have a team that's passionate about what they do, and they pour everything into their jobs. Lastly, a race involves different terrains. It's hard uphills, some speed when you're on the declines, and then cruising along with long stretches. When you lead a business, you experience all of this, but the highs remain in your thoughts. Some of the highlights that I vividly remember is moving into a small office in Somerset West, and of course the Joburg team moving into a small office in Northcliffe after both teams started working from home, just after we started the business in 2010. And then transforming into bigger offices, and now we've got a beautiful space on the Lawrenceford farm, and the Joburg team has got a beautiful space in Northcliffe. Another highlight is always bringing on new clients. And then last but not least, is without boasting, is our contribution to the Walk with a Purpose charitable trust. We distribute shoes to the less fortunate, and we also give monetary contributions. And it's always amazing to be able to personally help someone out of a situation and uplift them, which is the ultimate reward for someone's hard-earned money.
I must say that I am pleased to join on the 10th year, but I feel like we're just getting started. What can our clients and anyone watching today look forward to in the next 10 years, 100 years? I know we're living a legacy.
Right.
We're leaving a legacy behind. We're building something greater than ourselves. What can we look forward to?
Nanda, I think your timing's spot on, perfect. Yeah, we've built such a good foundation. So I think the rest of the journey's all the exciting things. We've got this research foundation. We're going to provide new innovative solutions. We're going to grow our wealth business. We're going to grow our offshore business. There's so many things on the go. You've joined exactly in the right timing. If I recall that analogy I made in the beginning of the Wright brothers, the 15 seconds, I think we in for the 59 seconds for the next 10 years.
I love that. Tanya, any final thoughts?
As you know, Chadwick Boseman passed away recently. He was the star in the movie Black Panther, and that reminded me of something that King T'Challa said in that movie. In times of crisis, the wise build bridges, while the foolish build barriers.
Wow.
And we must find a way to look after one another as if we are one single tribe. This has been one of the toughest years due to COVID, but it was also quite an amazing year because we saw how people had empathy for one another and stood together in ways that we've never seen. So we as GraySwan aspire to look after our clients and our people as in one tribe. We wholeheartedly appreciate everything that our employees do to make this company successful. And we would like to thank each one of our clients for entrusting us with their most prized possessions, their money. May all of us prosper, not just financially, but also by living a long fulfilled life as God intended it to be.
Nanda, you've been asking all the difficult questions. And our journey started, about 2 years back, when Tanya saw you present to a global group of women. And you were so passionate that Tanya had to meet you, and finally we got you into the business. Yes. So I want to ask you, what have you seen about the business, and what are you excited about for the next 10 years?
Well, when I reflect on my journey and I tell my family and friends, they are so surprised to learn that when I joined the team, I didn't have a role, and you guys gave me carte blanche. You said I could just see where I add value, and that also speaks to how we do business here. We don't build products and then go off and sell them to people and try and sell them. We actually ask the client what are their needs, and we tailor make something that's going to progress them and take them forward. So that is evident in how we do business, and I see it in how even I fit into the picture. So that's, for me, is just brilliant, and I think every business should run like we do, to be honest. Yeah. Well, you two have the same surname. I think people have figured out by now that you are married, husband and wife. How is it like building a business together, building a home together? Just talk to us about the realities of that.
You go first.
We are very fortunate to be able to work together. I must admit that what we've decided right from the start is that we split the roles.
Wow.
Is that each one of us has got different responsibilities that we look after, and that's why we build each other up and don't break each other down.
Love that.
It's also extremely nice to be able to see Duncan's face on a daily basis at the office. For me, during COVID, we had that special time with the family. It was such a privilege to be able to spend time with my kids and just be there for them. And that's the same with having each other at the office.
That's a tough question. No, I mean, at the end of the day, I love doing everything with Tanya, with my family, with my friends. And if you look at the broader GraySwan, we are a family. These are all people we've worked with the last 10, 15 years. And if I just reflect on Tanya, she has got some amazing skills when it comes to, the wealth management side, tax, accounting, compliance, operations. And as she's kind of the rock of this business, that allows me to freely roam, build strategy, think big, do the research, build up the business. So I think in total, we love doing everything together, whether it's working, whether it's mountain biking, whether it's running. And we've got the same passions, we've got the same purpose. And I think collectively, we're just a stronger team.
Inspiring. Fantastic. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. GraySwan celebrates 10 years. It's been good, and I'm looking forward to the next 10 years.